Here now is former Ambassador Lincoln Bloomfield, who is going to be testifying tomorrow before the House Foreign Relations Committee about the Iran deal. Ambassador, good to see you. Let's talk first, if you don't mind, about John Kerry's sort of freelance diplomacy. I know it's unusual, but what really bothers me is whether or not Kerry is giving our enemies some information that might be useful against the strategy of our own commander-in-chief. What do you think?
Well, it doesn't look good. It does. If he's actually trying to cut some kind of a deal with all of the players in the negotiation, then obviously that raises serious questions. I'm not a lawyer. There is an old law called the Logan Act that people talk about. I have no idea whether it's a violation. Frankly, the Iranians have to know that former Secretary and Senator Kerry is really not very influential with the new administration. What's interesting to me is that I wonder if Mr. Kerry understands that Zarif, the foreign minister of Iran, really doesn't carry much weight with the supreme leader of Iran either. Well, and so I think they're both wasting their time.
The thing is, he should, Mr. Kerry, because he's run for office, should understand that if you lose an election, you don't get to set policy. I mean, it's that simple. The fact is, American voters voted for a change in policy. Donald Trump represents that change. He was quite clear on the campaign trail that he didn't like the Iran deal. He was thinking of tearing it up. He may have changed that a bit. But the point is, Kerry doesn't get to make policy because his party lost.
That's right. And here's the real deal. In 2013, when President Obama was starting off this process, he went to the UN and he said, we're going to try to negotiate the nuclear deal, and we're going to see if Iran wants to become moderate and wants to become reformist and have a better relationship with the U.S. Well, now we have the answer 5 years later. According to Mr. Pompeo a month ago, they're not violating the deal, but beyond that, we have the answer. Iran has no interest at all in being friends with the United States.
Yeah.
They're burning up the Middle East in every direction.
Well, you know where we got the answer, Ambassador? It's very simple. Melissa and I both hit upon it during the report of our reporter before we started talking to you. The Iranians like it. If the Iranians like it, in my mind, there's something wrong with it. Is that too simplistic?
Here's what I would add. What we don't see very well, because Mr. Zarif smiles a lot and seems very comfortable with the situation, is that Iran's in a lot of trouble. That regime is on thin ice. The people, as you saw, rose up in over 140 cities and towns. And even some of the clerics, the ayatollahs, are against the supreme leader being too political. So there's some real divisiveness. They're afraid of what could happen. So actually, they're whistling past the graveyard. And I think this is why President Trump can step up the pressure with Iran. We'll see what his decision is. If he finds a way to do this with the Europeans, we'll be in a strong situation.
Mr. Ambassador, give me a rapid very quickly. In your testimony tomorrow, are you going to recommend that the president tear up the treaty? Or I shouldn't say treaty, the deal.
My job is to go right down the middle and find a solution, to thread the needle. I think that as Mr. Trump said when he was a candidate in the primaries, he said it's a contract. Well, they're not violating it. I have no problem if he says, okay, we'll stick to the deal, but it doesn't cover enough. So we're going to take care of ballistic missiles. We're going to take care of human rights. We're going to take care of all the trouble they're causing in the Middle East with a much stronger policy. That's the answer.
Ambassador Lincoln Bloomfield, good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.